Characteristics. The first characteristic of a monopoly is a single seller, in which the single firm is the sole producer of a specific good or the sole supplier of a service. The second characteristic is that there are no close substitutions. A consumer who chooses not to buy the monopolized product must do without it. The third characteristic of a monopoly is that the company is a price maker. A pure monopolist controls the total quantity supplied, and thus has considerable control over the price. The pure monopolist also can change its product price by changing the quantity produced. The final characteristic is blocked entry. A pure monopolist faces no immediate competition because various barriers keep out potential competitors from entering into the industry.
Barriers to entry. Anything that artificially prevents the entry of firms into an industry. Some strong barriers prevent entry into an industry, creating monopolies. Weaker barriers may cause oligopolies, monopolistic competition, or pure competition. Economies of scale. Reductions in the average total cost of producing a product as the firm expands the size of plant in the long run. The economies of mass production. These can serve as barriers for pure monopolies from competition. Natural monopoly. An industry in which economies of scale are so great that a single firm can produce the product at a lower average total cost than would be possible if more than one firm produced the product. Natural monopolies may set its price far above the average total cost and obtain substantial economic profit. Patents. An exclusive right given to inventors to produce and sell a new product or machine for 20 years from the time of patent application. Patents are established to protect the inventor from losing profit to others who do not share the effort or expense of the development. The funds received during the lifetime of patents are often given to research and development groups so that they may develop new products or machines to be patented. Licenses. Governments may also establish licenses for select states. This causes public monopolies. Governments most often give these types of licenses to allow liquor or lottery sales. Ownership. Inventors or companies can create and maintain monopolies by gaining control over select materials that are necessary for the production of products or machinery. Pricing. Companies may also respond to the uprise of possible rivals by lowering their prices, raising advertisement, or taking any other action necessary to beat out the competition.
When it comes to misconceptions about monopolies, there are usually three categories. 1. Monopolists will charge the highest price. 2. Monopolists seek total, not unit profit. And 3. There are no possibilities of losses in a monopoly. Number 1. The highest price. While it is believed that monopolists intend to charge the highest price available, this is incorrect. It is true that the monopolist wants to make money, but in order to do so, he will not raise the price to the highest extremity. Number 2. Total, not unit profit. Overall, the monopolist seeks to raise the total profit and not the unit profit for the monopoly. As for the profit, a decrease in unit pricing does in fact encourage more consumption of the product. Number 3. Possibility of losses. For any monopoly, a profit is not really promised. Little demand for the product in turn causes high pricing. If normal profit does not take place, then the company will result in a collapse. Economic effects. In economic effects, there are two common categories: income transfer and cost complications. In income transfer, monopolies transfer income from the consumer to the stockholder. If a change in tax to the consumer occurs, then the monopolist will gain the overall economic benefits. In monopolies, consumers are the ones that end up with the most taxes and fees, which contributes to income inequality. Cost complications. For the market demand, the demand may not be high enough to support the firm. This will lead to a decrease in the average total cost in the situation where one or two firms are involved. Firms that initiate the use of new technologies will see a decrease in the average total cost in the long run. Expenses and the cost of learning processes also decrease the cost, in addition to simultaneous consumption and network effect. Simultaneous consumption is defined as the ability of a product to satisfy a large number of consumers simultaneously, such as the internet, for example. Network effect is defined as the increases in value of the product to each user, such as social networking.
Price discrimination is the practice of selling a specific product at more than one price when the price differences are not justified by the cost differences. Conditions of price discrimination. The first condition is monopoly power, in which sellers must possess some degree of monopoly power. They also must have some ability to control output and price. Secondly, there must be a distinct market segregation. The seller must be able to segregate buyers into distinct classes, each of which has a different willingness or ability to pay for a product. The segregation of buyers is usually based on different price elasticities of demand. Finally, there is no resale. The original purchaser cannot resell the product or service.
Sherman Act of 1890, Section 1. Every contract combination, in the form of a trust or otherwise, or conspiracy, in restraint of trade or commerce among the several states or with foreign nations, is declared to be illegal. Section 2. Every person who shall monopolize or attempt to monopolize or combine or conspire with any person or persons to monopolize any part of the trade or commerce among the several states or with foreign nations shall be deemed guilty of a felony. Rule of reason. The rules stated and applied in the U.S. Steel case that only combinations and contracts unreasonably restraining trade are subject to actions under the antitrust laws, and that size and possession of monopoly power are not illegal. If necessary, the courts can inhibit anti-competitive practices or break up monopolies into competing firms. Parties injured by monopolies can sue for treble damages, an award of 3 times the amount of the monetary injury done to them.